Start record. I don't know why she shouts it every time. Okay. So we have some good stuff to do here. We're going to do some exercises. Just getting started, I said something in the last class that I realized I should have said to everyone. So the reason that we spend so much time going over the exercises is that I think this is where the learning really happens. And that's just based on my own experience learning languages. We can, you know, I can read to you from the book. You can read the book by yourself, obviously. And Lambden will say something like, the such and such in first person independent pronoun can be reduced when it's before a noun or whatever. And that is all good and it makes sense, but it doesn't really stick until you see it happen. So just to explain that there's like a method to the madness, the reason that we spend almost the entire class going over the exercises is simply because I think that's really where the grammar learning actually happens. So, so that's intentional. There are 48 questions. That means everybody's going to get like 10 questions. I'll break them up into probably into groups of 5, just so it doesn't get too much at once. And just choose my first victim, Christian.
Okay. Anak Uhamhal in the Pegamon. I am a slave or a servant of the hegemon, of the governor.
Yep, good. I am a slave of the hegemon.
Yeah. When we shows a mauhin there is a shepherd, right? In the field.
Yeah. So it's literally there is a shepherd there in the field, but again, the emau is sort of just thrown in with this when construction. So just there is a shepherd in the field.
Yeah. In Tokpe Pensah, you are our teacher.
Good.
Anon Nefeso, we are his sheep.
Yep.
And then Anon Anpe, it is not us.
It is not us. Yeah, that one caused some confusion in the last class just because the way Coptic says this and the way English says this are slightly different. And it's also different from the way just about every other language that I know says this. For instance, Christian, how would you say this in German?
Wir sind es nicht. It would be literally, we are it not. We are not
it. That's actually more like English.
I think it would be more like how like Claudio said in Italian. It's like non siamo or something like that. Whereas in English you would say it is not us, or you know how like you said in the other one, if you pick up the phone, like who is it? It's like, well, you're not literally asking what you are. You know, you could say who are you, but that sounds weird.
Yeah.
So we say it's this, or it's me, or it's not.
Yeah, and it's a dead giveaway that someone like didn't grow up in an Anglophone country when they say, like, when they answer the phone with "I am so and so." I know a lot of people who, like, if you knock on the door, they'll say like, "I am so and so," and it's like, oh, good. It sounds so funny. It sounds so funny to like a native English ear, but it sounds like a perfectly normal translation of the way other languages say it. So yeah, that one caused some confusion. It's just an unknown anpe. It is not us. So whatever thing we're talking about here, that thing is not us. Okay. Johnny, do you want to take the next 5?
Sure, yeah. Okay, so number 6 here. In tof pe owe em pe laos. And so I have, he is the glory of his people.
Very good. Yeah.
Awesome. Ente nim ento. Who are you?
Yeah.
Cool. Aneg uangelos ente pnute. I am an angel of the Lord.
Yeah. Of the Lord?
Or of God.
Yeah.
of God. Yeah, cool. These ones are kind of easy because the sentences were like you could almost like pull them straight out of the Bible. So once you got like 2 or 3 words, you're like, oh, I can just kind of fill in the blanks, you know?
Yeah, and that's generally true. That's kind of generally true in Lambden, actually, which is, in a way, it's a good thing because it means that these are perfectly legitimate sentences that you might really find. It also just indicates that like it shows what his sources are, but he makes no secret about that. This is all based on New Testament or, similar texts.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you'd ever heard of the close methodology, like CLOZE, where you just like have a sentence and then there's a missing word and you fill in the word based on the context. So that's kind of what it feels like with this a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool. So number 9, when let me see here. When useche emau?
It's
Or,
not a chima.
oh, yep, that's right. That's a F. When usefe emau?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. 9. So that would be there is a sword in that field.
And Mal?
Maybe there's a sword in that place. Or let's see here. A sword. Shoot. Yeah, I'm not. I must have crossed my things here.
Yeah, you're probably looking at a different one when you were writing that answer down. Just
Uh-huh.
just looking from the Coptic, what do we have here?
Let's
When
see here.
Usefa, there is a sword, and Mal.
Mao. Well, I think, is it a Mao like in that place
You
or am I
might have seen Himpma at Mal or something like that. Mal just means there, but it's
Oh,
used also in this construction, etimal, which is kind of like the English word that. So you say like prome etimal is like the man who is there, literally, but it means something like that man.
oh,
So you're connecting it with that phrase and
gotcha.
giving it like a demonstrative meaning, and then you need a noun to go with it, so it needs to be like a place or something. Emal just means there,
Oh, okay.
and yeah.
Okay, cool. I remember that. I'll put a note in there. There. And then the next one is upe pimain. Let's see here, and that would be, I translate that as what is the sign?
What is
This sign.
Paymain?
This sign. Sorry.
Yeah, very good. What is
Awesome.
this sign?
Cool.
Okay, good job, Johnny.
Thank you.
Sarah, you want to grab 5?
Sure. So we've got Untof Pe Poehai, which I have as he is your husband.
Good. Yeah.
And then Pai Pe Penmos Pinyote, which I have as this is the law of God.
Yeah. Good.
And then O Pe Peagilion Peagilion
Pewangelion.
Peongalion. What is the gospel?
Yes. What is the gospel?
Tehel.
So this one's a little weird. It is an abbreviation, and you're meant to expand the word in place. So what do you think
Okay.
this might be an abbreviation for?
Israel.
Yeah, very good.
Peflos.
Laos.
Peflaus. And Israel is its people.
Yeah, good. I think I translated it his people, just to kind of get that third person masculine possessor in there, but it could be its too.
Okay. And into pe, it is they.
Yes, it is they. Very good. Okay, someone in my last class said it is the mountains, which is also a correct translation. And Do literally means the mountains, because Do is mountain. So that's also correct, but I think what he's going for here is it is them, it is they. So yeah, good job. Joe, do you want to do 5?
Sure thing. Hi, everybody.
Joe.
Number 16, Nimne Nesinganesne. Who are they? They are kinsmen. Number 17.
Who's kinsman?
Nesinganesne. They are kinsmen.
Nesinganes, not just kinsman.
Nesinganes. They are her kinsmen.
There we go. Yep.
Okay.
Really hard to see that there's a doubled S in there, but just, pointing it out to you.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Number 17, Nto te tashime. You are my wife.
Yeah, literally it says you are my woman. But yeah, you are my wife makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it sounds less caveman.
Lambda does give hime as woman or wife, but there's actually another word that normally means wife. So I don't like that he did that. This literally says you are my woman, but yeah.
Number 18, Nwone Anpe. It is not a stone.
Good. Yeah.
Number 19, Anok Pe Yosef. I am Joseph. Oh, that's a good one. And number 20, you timed it that way. Number 20, Pea'u Mpajois Hijum Pe Rome. The glory of the Lord is on this man.
Very good. Yeah, the glory of the Lord, yeah, is upon this man. Okay. Good job, Joe. Tyler, do you want to grab 5 of these?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Good.
Live long and prosper, Joe. Number 21, Ashpe Pai. Who is this? Oh, Mayan Pe. A miracle? Or I guess, what is this? Sorry, a miracle?
Yeah.
Hooray. Number 22, Meshach Untof Pe Jesus.
So that abbreviation at the end is not the abbreviation for Jesus. It's a different word. What other word do you think it might be?
Non so.
You're very close. Very close.
Non Christos. Yo no sé. Is Christ?
That's it.
Christos? Okay.
Yep.
So Meshach Untof Pe Christos.
That's it.
So maybe he is Jesus. I don't know.
Well, maybe he is the Christ.
Maybe he is the Christ. Okay.
Yeah. So this is like, and
I think
here
I'm
we're
conflating Jesus and the Christ, and I probably don't understand the distinction. So.
Yeah. So the Christ is like just the Greek word for the Messiah, which is it's a different idea than the modern Christian idea, because it's obviously been changed over the years, or the understanding of it has changed. But this is just the chosen one, the Christos.
Okay, so just think Messiah, not Jesus's name. It means just Messiah. Okay, good. So for maybe he is the Messiah.
Yeah.
Number 23, Otime Peunte to Galilea. And that is a small town in Galilee.
Yep.
Number 24, Perpe Nim Pepai. Whose temple is this?
Yeah. Okay, so you did a good job translating that into fluent English. Try to translate the Coptic literally.
Oh, that would be easier. Temple of who this is?
Yeah.
I have it written literally, and I give the English when we get to it. Number 25, Peshome Oeng Angelion Pe. This book is a gospel?
Yeah, good. This book is a gospel. Okay. Great job, Tyler. Let me see who's next. Christian, do you want to go again?
Sure.
Okay, go again.
It's y'all. Ashtetihye, which is the way, or yeah. Which way
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, so the ash in this case, instead of u, suggests that we're choosing between multiple things, as in the word which. So which is the way?
When Uhegemon in Syria, there is a governor or a hegemon in Syria. Ashtetejom, what is this power?
What is this power? That's such a great sentence. I didn't notice it before, but it's like the comic book, like a full panel where he's just like, and there's like white, webby looking stuff in the air.
Y'all are priests.
Yeah, y'all are some priests. Okay. Good job, Christian, as always. Johnny.
All right. Okay, let's see here. Telo in Nahrem Pergamon. I have the old woman is front of the governor.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. 32. Mentime hen Torinie et Emau. I have there is no village in the hill country or in that hill country.
Yeah, exactly. There's no village in the hill country which is there.
Cool.
So yeah, in that hill country.
Cool. Yeah. That one, the et Emau in that part makes a lot more sense for me.
And that will get easy with practice. You'll see much more examples of emal just meaning there. It's weird in Lambden because he gives you this right away. So it's like the first time you see that word is being used in this ultra specific idiomatic way. And you kind of have to like unstick it from that meaning. But that will happen with time.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, number 33. Pai pe pnomos empero. This is the law of the king.
Yep.
And then 34. When henchos he ptoe. I have there's a shepherd on the mountain.
A shepherd?
There's some shepherds or a few shepherds on the mountain.
Yeah, there's some shepherds on the mountain.
Cool. And then number 35. Piboin u mine pe. This light is a sign or a miracle.
Yeah.
Cool.
This light is a sign or a miracle.
Cool.
This little light of mine. For everyone who like grew up going to Sunday school, you enjoy having that song stuck in your head for the rest of the day. Sarah, do you want to do 5 more?
Sure. Entos oi parathnos te.
So I'm gonna mess with the pronunciation a little bit here. This first sound is just always oo. It's sort of like how if you see ch in English, it always means this kind of sound. Like check is always it's cha, right? It's not saha or kaha. And that's just, I know that seems very, very, very basic, but I'm telling you that just to kind of like give you an opportunity to lock into your mind that those really aren't 2 letters. That's just one.
Okay.
That's one thing. And it just sounds like ooh.
Ooh. So entos u parothnos te. And that she is a virgin.
Yes, that is literally what it says.
Then chamoil. Chamul. Nimne. Whose camels are these?
Yeah, so you did a great job translating that. Can you give me literally the Coptic also?
Um, the camels are who this?
Yeah,
Or
that's good. I would say the camels of who these. The camels
okay.
of who these. Doesn't make sense in English, but that's how it is.
Uhanesh, Uhanesh, Pe Christos,
Good.
and Pe. John is not the Christ.
Very good. Yeah.
Pe Kerome, Pas Sigenes,
Remember,
Sigenes, Pe.
two gammas makes an ung. Sunganes.
Singenes, Pe. This man is my kinsman.
Close. Very close. It's not this man. It's pekerome. Do you remember this ke?
No.
It was in a previous chapter, and we saw a few examples of it, but we haven't seen it in a little while. It's the way that Coptic says the other. It actually like
Okay.
inserts it into the thing like this. Pekerome is the other man.
Okay, so the other man is my kinsman.
That's right.
And then Untof Pe Peshere Pehamshe. He is the son of the carpenter.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and tell you guys too, because I think this is kind of fun. Hamshe, you've just learned as a word for carpenter, but it's actually, you can break it down further. She means wood in Coptic, and ham, this prefix is kind of like is like worker, or I said right before, like as in Wainwright. But you could also say like, what is the other word? Smith or worker, whatever. So hamshe means woodworker. So it's literally hamshe, worker of wood. So I think that's kind of fun. Anyway, just throwing in minor interesting things that we'll learn eventually. Joe, do you want to take, let's see, I'm going to divide the rest of them between you and Tyler. So do you want to take 4 more?
Was that me?
That's you, sir. I hope you don't feel slighted that I'm only giving you 4 exercises.
Yeah, boy, I'm not getting my money's worth here. Number 41. Ash pe pekake et higen tepolis. What is the darkness which is upon the city?
Yeah, very good. No problems with your translation, but I will also add that because of the word ash instead of the word u, this would probably be something like which is the darkness. So we don't have context with any of these, right? So it's kind of hard to say, but you can imagine a scenario where there are multiple darknesses and we're asking which specifically is the one. So like right now, what is the darkness that is upon the city? Is it political dissent? Is it this pandemic? Is it blah, 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 right? So hypothetically, but also very really.
Okay. Okay, great. Number 42, Nto'u Nasneu Ne. They are my brothers.
Yeah. Note that this could also mean what? I didn't notice this last time.
The mountains are my brothers.
Yeah, it could literally mean the mountains are my brothers.
Did you just recently watch Pocahontas?
Yes, actually, fairly recently. It was my wife's favorite movie when she was a kid. So, so yeah. I used
put
to
the
come
mountains.
home.
It was my favorite answer of the whole thing, so I stand by it.
Yeah, it's so good. It kind of reminds me of like a John Denver song or something, but yeah, or Pocahontas. The mountains are my brothers. Such a good song. I love that song.
It does sound like John Denver, though. Let's see. Number 43. Nai ne nshaje petnomos. They are the words of your law.
Yeah, very good answer. I'm going to nitpick one thing, nigh at the beginning.
These are the words of your law.
That's it. Yeah. Before you said they are the words of your law, which is still a perfectly fine translation, but just trying to make sure we get every little detail as we go.
All those N's.
Yeah, Coptic is just the language of the N. In Demotic, actually, there are many places where the N in Demotic is just a dot. It's like an interpunct. And there are many places where it's simply omitted. They're like, yeah, there's a bunch of N's in here somewhere. I'm not even going to bother to write them. You know they're in there.
All right, number 44. Nke eso hen tisoshe. The other sheep are in the open country.
Yes. So like some of the sheep are in the sheepfold, the other sheep are in the pasture. Okay, very good. And Tyler, the last four.
Yes, sir. Number 45. Nim pe pran pe hegemon. What is the name of the hegemon? Or more literally, who is the name of the hegemon?
Yes, very good.
Number 46. Tai te tasefe. This is my sword.
Yep.
Number 47. Umain unte tefchonpe. And that's a miracle of his power. It is a miracle of his power.
Yes.
Number 48.
Or it could be, it is a sign of his power.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just realized, like, it could be like a less dramatic statement. It could just be like somebody did something and it's like, it's a sign of his power that he did that. Not necessarily a miracle per se, but yeah.
Number 48. Nimte tidmau n Johannes. And that's who's Johannes's mom?
Yes. Who is John's mom? Who is John's mom, Tyler?
I don't know, John. My aunt Carol. That's John's mom.
Your Aunt Carol. Okay. Correct answer. Like so many things in Coptic, there's more than one.
John.
Right,
I'm not. I like the religious stuff.
John the Baptist.
But you know, I'm from here. Like we have literally a place named that like half an hour from here. John the Baptist. So that's John. That's this John.
That's this John.
Okay.
Well, actually, we don't know. It doesn't specifically say, but just like Lambden loves to use the story of Elizabeth and Zacharias and John. So in the story, Elizabeth is barren and Zacharias is like a very devout old man. And then like Jabril comes and says she's gonna have a baby. And old Zach is like, no way. And he's like, okay, you can't talk anymore until the baby comes. Because you're just like not being a team player here, Zach. And so that's my summary of events. So yeah, and clearly it's a reference to Abraham and Sarah, right? Sarah was barren, and then when she was like 9,000 years old, she finally had a baby. And then fun fact, Abraham tried to murder him because he had a vision that he was instructed to do so. But then changed his mind. Or God changed his mind, depending on how you read the story. Okay, all good stuff. All good biblical stuff happening. We're doing great on time. That's why I'm just kind of rambling about biblical stories. I find them really fascinating too. I love Bible stories, always have. I'm not religious, by the way, so before you think I'm trying to like, not trying to take any sort of religious perspective. Okay,
this is the real long con for proselytizing.
Yeah, it's really subtle. It's very subtle. But my name is Christian, so that like that kind of maybe that gives the game away. I don't know. I've asked why my name is Christian, and I've never gotten a good answer. Other Christian, have you ever asked your parents why they named you that?
I think I did too, and I don't know if I ever got a satisfying answer because my brothers all got named after other relatives of ours, but I don't think we have another Christian in our family. But also in Germany, Christian, it doesn't have the same connotation. People don't think, like a Christian because we have a different word for it. And it was a very popular name, I think like 20 years ago. So there's a lot of guys in there, I think even earlier. There's a lot of guys in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're older than the ones I know are older than that. So.
Yeah, older than that. Yeah, so there's a lot of not that many Christians my age, and a lot more who are like 40 and 50 here, or 30, 40.
Yeah, I guess that's where I think my mom just heard it and liked it. I don't know. So yeah, probably same situation. Anyway, but if you're not like spending a lot of time in the South of the United States, you're probably not getting that. Christian, are you a Christian? Question. Never, guys, piece of advice. This is the best thing you'll learn in this class. Never make an obvious joke about someone's name. Not because you're going to offend them, because you're going to annoy the shit out of them because they've heard that joke 100,000 times. Just don't do it. Just don't. Unless you have some.
Oh, sorry. People
No,
always
go
ask
ahead,
me if my last name's Black. So people always like, did you know that you're white?
Wait, Hernandez?
Wow.
Black Hernandez is my married name. Black Hernandez. So yeah, I was like, you know
Oh.
you're white? I'm like, wow, they messed up when I was born. Sorry.
In Red Dead Redemption 2, there's this really great side quest with these two escaped convicts, and their names are Black and White, and they're like the opposite. And they're very clearly like boyfriends, and you're trying to like help them. It's like in the 19th century, so not really a good time to be these dudes, an interracial gay couple. But they're also just like always ragging on each other, and they're always making jokes about like their names and their race, and it's just so delightful. And they're clearly just like the like goofiest mean old couple. Anyway, if you play that game, you'll find that, and it's delightful. Okay, so back onto something like the subject that we're supposed to be talking about. This lesson, we finally get verbs, which is really exciting. I don't know if you realize how exciting it is, but it means that we can like actually tell stories and stuff, especially if we have past tense verbs, which is what we're getting right now. So Lambden tells you that this verb corresponds to the English preterite or the English perfect. He names it the first perfect. I normally refer to this as the preterite, actually, because it's a little bit more accurate, but it doesn't really matter. The fact is that it can mean either. It can mean the preterite, as in I went, or it can mean the perfect, as in I have gone. So kind of a minor nuance. It's whether you're focusing on the action having been completed or focusing on the action itself. There are actually two verb forms in Coptic. There is a preterite and a perfect, but in the case of Saidic, they're identical to one another. So if you see this verb form, it could be either one. So you can just call it the past, call it the preterite, call it the perfect, as Lambden does, doesn't matter. And then we have all of the different pronominal forms of it. So Ivok means I went, Akvok means you went, Arvok means you, feminine, singular, went, Afvok means he went, Asvok means she went, Anvok, we went, Atetinvok, y'all went, and Alvok, they went. And you might notice something about this paradigm. What can you notice? What can you tell me about it?
I've already spent a lot of time memorizing very similar things.
Yeah, what's similar?
For possessive
about this?
pronouns.
Yeah, how are they similar? Where are the similarities?
Take off the consonant, and then you got your, seems like base unit for that person.
Yeah, so you mean extract this consonant? Is that what you mean?
from the personal pronouns. Sorry, the ones we learned before. Like instead of like putting the pi, like pa, a, right? It's just the a. The I
Yeah.
here goes with a, so it matches.
It does match. It is kind of like that. I'll tell you that what this literally means is I voke is literally I did going. So voke is the infinitive. It means like going or to go. So it doesn't correspond perfectly with English, but we would translate it as either the gerund or the infinitive, going or to go. So I voke is I did going. So this prefix is actually from a form of the verb to do, which is ire in Saidic, in the past. It's the sejemef for everyone who's studied late Egyptian or even Middle Egyptian. This is the sejemef of the verb to do. So I did going, you did going, etc. And yeah, the way you form it is just by putting alpha and then some kind of pronominal something in there, which corresponds roughly to the possessive articles we've learned and the independent pronouns that we've learned. So you have that K, you have the F, S. In this case, you actually do have the glottal stop for the second person feminine singular, but it's a little bit harder to figure out how it's in there. And then N, ten, and U. So that's all your standard pronouns. Shouldn't be too hard to memorize this paradigm. And then the way it's used with nouns is you can put the alpha before the noun and then the infinitive. So aprome voke. It's just the same as saying I voke. Like I voke means I went. Aprome voke means the man went. This is pretty uncommon. It does happen, but it's not very common. Much more common is for Coptic to do something like prome afvoke, the man he went. So you repeat the subject with a pronoun. Teshime asvoke, the woman she went. And most common of all, in my opinion, is this form where you say something like afvoke inchi prome. He went, namely the man. So this inchi doesn't really translate well into English, but it's basically just a particle that introduces the subject. So Coptic likes to take this whole construction, which allows it to add the subject in later and just put it after the verb. So you get a conjugated verb and then you get the subject in later. Afok inchi prome, the man went, or asfok inchi teshime, she went, namely the woman, or the woman went. Minor wrinkle here, if you have a u hela vok, meaning an old man went, the a and the u will tend to merge into au hela vok. Not really a big deal. Pretty much anytime you see au, you can break it into a u, right? Because this is this is all consonantal stems. So yeah, you'll get used to that. And then the last thing in the lesson are a few additional prepositions. It gives us 3. Is a preposition that just means to. It's very general, just in the direction of something. Sha means like up to or until. It's a little bit nuanced. And ejin means on top of, but it's not the same as hijin, which hijin defines like a static location. Ejin is like to the top of. So it's used with verbs of motion to say like to get onto something. Then we have some examples of these. Afok epekro, he went to the shore, or he went to your mouth. Either way. Alpot et ecclesia, they ran to the church. Al ale epjoy, they got up onto the ship. So they mounted to the ship, is how Coptic says it. Afpot sha pefiot, he ran to his father. Anvok sha pepiskopos, we ran up to the bishop. So this is a common use of sha, is with when it's to a person who is worthy of respect in some way, you'll often see sha instead of eh. And that's just, the way Coptic likes to say it. It's a little more polite, maybe. You go up to someone instead of going someone. And then ejin, our last preposition, afale, ejin pyo, or ejem pyo. He got onto the donkey. or ashe ejemkah, she fell upon the land, upon the ground. Yeah, and that's basically this whole lesson. Obviously, in the exercises, we're going to practice these, and yeah, just open it up to questions.
In Coptic, do they do any kind of like triconsonant stuff where with verbs like in Semitic languages at all?
Oh my goodness, yes. We haven't seen any triconsonantal verbs yet, just because we just got away of actually using verbs. But they might be in the vocab for this, actually. I haven't really looked through the vocab. Let's see. That one's really not, even though it looks like it is. Moche is actually a triconsonantal verb. It was originally mesha with an ein at the end. So it's m, shin, ein, mesha. But we'll get a bunch more. Basically, we'll get the triconsonantal verbs once we get the other forms of the verb. So Coptic verbs basically have 4 principal parts. Right now, we're just seeing the first principal part because we're going to see some examples that are limited in such a way that we don't need to use the other principal parts yet. And then once we start getting all of the 4 forms of the verb, then triconsonantal verbs will come in force because they're very easy. Like their different principal parts are totally predictable. So that's where you'll see a bunch of those.
Cool. Yeah, because I'm like chomping at the bit on the verbs. I've been waiting.
I know it's always so annoying when you have to wait for verbs because it's like you can't really say anything without verbs. You can't say anything interesting without verbs, and that's just, it's like how in writing they tell you to go through and find your adverbs and replace them with better verbs, because there's nothing less vivid than a sentence without a good verb in it. But we're getting some. They're coming. I promise, Johnny, I promise by the time we get to the end of the book, you'll have like a fuck ton of verbs. Cool. Okay, any other questions? That was a great question. Oh, I missed someone at the bottom. Sorry, is that Han Yao?
Hi, so I got a bit late and did not want to bother anyone.
Okay, good. Well, just forgive me if I neglected you. I didn't see you at the bottom of the list there until just now. Wasn't my intention to leave you out, of course. Okay, well, I guess if there are no more questions, we'll just stop here and we'll see y'all next week.
Have a nice weekend.
Okay, you too.
Ujai
Have a good week.
Ujai Namanrati.
Okay. Ujai Namanrati.